Hi, welcome to Maintain Me's Denver Senior Resource Channel. I'm Morgan Jenkins and I am the director at Maintain Me.
And hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm the nurse and owner of Maintain Me.
And today we're going to talk about something that might seem simple and straightforward, and you've done it a million times, but hopefully you'll walk away with some information that'll help you for your future. And we are going to talk about how to prepare for a doctor's appointment. Yes, we've all done them lots and lots of times. But how often do we leave our doctor's appointment going, wait, what did they say? Or he didn't, or she didn't even really answer my question. Or I feel like I was hustled through. Did I just get a new medication? And what does that mean?
Yeah, that's a perfect way to start. I think what we'll do first is break down the basics. And some of this you guys might know, and some of it you've never done before, and you will figure out that it'll make your life a lot easier. But let's quickly talk about what documentation or stuff you should bring to the doctor's visit. So Morgan, what do you think is the most important things to bring?
I think the most important things to bring is your medication list. So especially if you're seeing a new doctor or a specialist, you want to have everything that you're currently on in hand so you can bring that along. The other thing that I think is important to bring is your questions. So maybe you're seeing a new doctor because there's something new going on that's different in your health, or maybe you're attending a doctor appointment with a loved one and you've never done that before. It's important to prepare your questions. What do you want to know from the doctor? What do you want to get out of it? What's your goals?
Yeah, real quick on that medication thing. I'm so ridiculously passionate about what a medication should look like, and or medication list, I'm sorry. And we all have seen different doctors' offices send us home with a medication list. And half the time it's in their language. And it doesn't have all the things that are important. So if you have somebody in your life, or you're capable of being able to take this medication list and recreate it into something that will be helpful and useful for you, and then have your doctors keep it updated to something that you can understand. So let me give you an example. I used to take care of my husband's grandma all the time, and I did all her medications. I took her medication list that she's had for years and years, and we added two really important columns to this. Number one being, if adverse reactions, what should I be looking for if I start experiencing these things? What medication could this be tied to? And then the second thing, which that information isn't always as useful without the second column, and the second column is who's managing this medication. Because if you're feeling dizzy and you're on a blood pressure medication, you may or may not be calling your urologist, okay? You're going to be calling your cardiac doctor or your primary care doctor. So if you don't have somebody, we do consulting, things like that. A lot of people will need like some kind of way to organize this medication and stuff. If you have a family member that can do that for you, we do have examples if you want to see that. But it's really important to bring a medication list that you know how to use and understand, because it's important to know who's managing what. There's different doctors that are going to be managing different things for you. And then also what to look for and what could it be tied to. So talking about different doctors, because we're going to go into that a little bit. Morgan, can you talk a little bit about what the difference is for preparing for different doctors and kind of something to consider?
Yeah, I think what you're asking is, so for example, if you're going to a neurologist versus your primary care. So a neurologist you're probably seeing for the first time. Maybe it's something that is grossly affecting your life, and so it makes you nervous to see this doctor, versus your primary care you've seen a million times. Or maybe you're so comfortable with that nurse practitioner that you end up talking about your weekend sometimes while you're in there. So it's just a very different emotional space depending upon what doctor you're seeing. Is that what you're meaning,
Yes,
Chelsea?
absolutely. And maybe even bring support. If you know that this is a doctor that you're nervous about talking to, maybe it's not the most, you're there for a problem. And, this isn't like a wellness checkup or a primary checkup, that you are specifically there for a new diagnosis or something. I think it's really important to bring extra support. with you, a family member, a friend. If you don't have that support, there are people in the world that will be that support for you. There's, caregivers, there's case managers, things that out there that could fill that space for you to make sure you understand everything that you may be told to do. Real quick before we move on from that, or just kind of elaborate a little bit on that, please know that when you are going to a doctor's appointment, and if you feel like you're leaving the doctor's appointment and you don't know how to carry out these new things that your doctor's asking you to do, technically that's a change in condition, and you could potentially qualify for home health care in your with your benefits. And so if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna, maybe it's a new med. Let's talk about a new med. You got a new med, they're sending you home with it. You don't really know what it's for. You've never ordered it before. Maybe somebody else is ordering things for you. That technically could qualify you for a nurse to come out and help you with that medication management and teaching for a short period of time under your insurance. So ask your doctor, okay, I hear what you're saying, could I get some help in regards to home health care? So just know that there could be some help in regards to that with a change of condition if you are visiting a specialist or something that has caused a change in your life.
And one thing to add on that, just important to keep in mind, home health, you are technically homebound.
Yes.
To qualify, and homebound means it is a great and taxing effort for you to leave the home. Mm-hmm. So they qualify doctor's appointments. I think church also qualifies, but if it is a bear for you or the person you're caring for, it's a great and taxing effort to get out of the house, then more than likely you are considered homebound and you should qualify for that home health benefit Chelsea's talking about. But that's a great point. Your insurance pays for things like that. Your insurance would rather see you get a little help that costs them a little bit of money instead of not knowing how to take the medication, doing it wrong, and God forbid, ending up in the hospital, or having a medication that is pretty important to your health and well-being and not taking it at all and ending up in the hospital. So it's better to just be on the front end of that and ask for help when you need it.
Absolutely. Anything else? I'm trying to think of other things that would be helpful when visiting a specialist versus your primary care. I mean, hopefully your primary care knows you really well, and you start to build a rapport. And if you don't have that, I would highly recommend seeking that. The more that you change your doctor, the less time frame you have in finding a baseline and working through little things to really add quality to your life versus starting over. Now, that does not mean you can't get a second opinion. Morgan, let's talk a little bit about a second opinion.
Yeah, that's a great point, Chelsea. So if you go to a doctor for, like Chelsea said, it's a problem, whatever's going on, you're not comfortable with it. And say, for instance, you're going to a cardiologist who says, oh, you need a stent. And now, disclosure, we're not doctors, we're not giving medical advice here. This is just a conversation. But say surgery is prescribed, and for you, it doesn't sit well. Maybe that just, it seems more invasive, or, something inside of you is saying, I don't know if I trust that. That's okay. We have that little voice inside of us for a reason. I think that previous to maybe this day and age, it was more commonplace to just take the doctor's word as gospel. Now, I'm not saying question everything. They have great medical advice in most cases, but it's okay to get a second opinion. If something doesn't sit right, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't align with your goals or wishes, it's okay to go talk to somebody else. You're not cheating on your doctor. You're not doing anything wrong. You're being proactive, and you are you're self-advocating is really what it is.
Yeah, and who's to say that you're not going to go talk to two other doctors who say the same thing, and you go right back to your doctor saying, okay, I think I'm ready. Sometimes it's just, having that set in for, okay, I'm going to do something pretty dramatic for my health for the better. And before I do that, I want to make sure that there aren't any other things I could be doing first. Maybe it's just that you don't want to jump the gun. And you're like, is there something else I could be doing? This is really scary. Or, is it 100% necessary to be the first step? Maybe it is still the step that you do down the road, but maybe there's something like a diet change or lifestyle change that you could be doing prior to, or even maybe before your stint, so that you have a better recovery, or that can eliminate fear and, maybe have a better outcome. So if you don't feel like you're going into this surgery and you have time and you've talked to other doctors and medical professionals, maybe you just want to prep your body to recover better, or, so there's just a lot of things that could be not even related to the fact that your doctor said that. That doesn't mean that you don't trust them. It just means that you're like, you know what, I really need to look into this because this is a pretty invasive thing, or it makes me uncomfortable and I need to learn about it. And I need to make sure that I'm ready, because mindset and body is what, kind of contributes to the success after the surgery. And so, and then also finding out what is it going to look like after surgery. So there's a lot that goes into just saying yes. And I think getting a second opinion should be one of the first things we all do with our health. And everybody thinks different, and there's a reason that there's so many doctors out there that, it's not a one size fits all. So, and doctors know that, they appreciate you doing your homework and being like, you know what, I gotta look into this. I need to learn about this first. So if you're afraid of telling the doctor you want a second opinion, phrase it like, you know what, I got to learn a little bit about this. I need to go talk to a couple of the trusted people in my lives. I'll be back. Thank you so much. And talk about it like that. If you're worried about it feeling uncomfortable with your doctor, phrase it as the fact that you need to go learn, and getting a second opinion is part of that process. So the other thing we wanted to talk about, which I think is so important, is the main reason I swear I'm a case manager is because there's no middleman for communication. So say you've been seeing your primary care doctor for 50 years, which is what my grandma was doing. She actually outlived her doctor. And she, she's seen this doctor forever. He knows her, she knows him. I mean, there's just like, it's great. However, as we get older, there are times where that primary care doctor needs to seek a specialist's opinion and have somebody manage something better than what they could have done as a whole. And so she ended up getting a cardiologist. The cardiologist does a great job in cardiology. However, are the specialist and your primary care communicating? So I will tell you, in most cases, the answer is no, that typically falls on the patient. However, I think people are trying to, even the hospital systems are trying to do a better job in, having somebody to connect those doctors in your lives. But it's very, very important to know that oftentimes falls through the cracks. And one of the easiest things you can do while you're in with that doctor is saying, hey, Dr. So-and-so, obviously I came to you because I'm going to give you kind of an example. So obviously I came to you because I was getting dizzy and it seems like my blood pressure's all over the place, and they wanted to do things with my heart to make sure, because they think it's related to that. Okay, great. We're going to put you on new medication. Okay. Typically, this other doctor has been managing your medications your entire life. So it makes sense that they would just, we got the opinion and they would continue to manage the medication. In most cases, that's not the case. That cardiologist is going to manage that one medication that you're on. So with that med list, you're going to say, great, are you going to be managing this new change in my life? That's the first question. The second question is, wonderful. Who's going to be telling my primary care doctor that I've been seeing for 50 years? Is it going to be me? Or is it going to be you? And if it is going to be me, can I get this in writing? Oftentimes when you're at the doctor, they will have a after visit summary, or, it'll have your vitals, it'll have kind of a summary of the visit, any recommendations and things moving forward. Do we all look at those? Not all the time. However, if you have to go and it's your responsibility to relay everything that specialist told you to your primary care doctor, we're leaving a large margin for error. And what that looks like, which could therefore be detrimental to your health. And so I would always say, number one, okay, great, doctor. Thank you so much for your advice. Are you going to be are you going to be managing this change in my life? Do I follow up with you about this? And number two, are you going to be telling my primary care doctor, or am I? And if I am, may I please have this in writing? Then all you have to do is go to your primary care doctor, say, yep, I saw the cardiologist. Here you go. and hand them, because they're going to, number one, they're going to appreciate that. Hopefully they're in the same system. What we start to see now is If you are in a system, say SCL system, hopefully you'll see a cardiologist in the same system, but that's not always happening. And if you are in the same system, they can look up that after visit summary, but don't assume that they're in the same system. It could have insurance and all kinds of things that, maybe even location that made it to where you went to a different specialist. So that's a lot of information, but if you can remember those 3 questions, are you going to be managing this new change? Who is going to be telling my primary care doctor that I've been with forever? And then can I please get that in writing? Those are the 3 things I would highly recommend if you're seeing a specialist with every visit.
Great summary, Chelsea. A lot of helpful tips there and really concrete examples of how to put that into practice. So awesome. I don't think I have anything else to add besides just be prepared. Just think about things before you go. Don't try to think of them while you're sitting in the office, because that white coat syndrome, the intimidation factor is real. Yes. And those questions that you have for your doctor are important.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys have not been on our channel before, our job is to create informed consumers. If you want to do things on your own to manage your care, we want to give you the knowledge that you need. If you need help, we want to be those people for you. So hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and then hit that notification bell. That notification bell will notify you every single time we have a new video coming out. We're putting new videos out every single week. We also take requests. So if there's things in your life that you would like more knowledge on, if we don't have it, which I'm sure with our team we do, but if we don't, we will go learn for you, and we will come back and bring the content specifically to you here on YouTube, or even to your personal email, however you prefer. So go ahead and comment down below. Our number is also in the comments box. If you need resources, we are here. We are Maintain Me Senior Services. We do consulting, light case management or acute case management, and transition services to independent living, assisted living, and memory care. So thank you so much for joining us. We love you all, and we hope to see you next time. Bye.
Signing off.